Hey everybody, what's up? This is going to be a quick 10-minute video because that's all the time I have left on this memory card. But I wanted to talk to you guys about something. You know, as you can probably see in the background, I've got the NCAA tournament on right now. And right now I've got Arizona and Memphis. And on the other channels you got Notre Dame and Akron and George Mason and Villanova and... let me check. Because I know there's one other game going on. But anyway, as you notice, I got these games on television, and you might have also noticed, like I mentioned when I talked about the tournament in one of my audio video. Boy, this thing really gets behind, doesn't it? But anyway, okay, we got Duke and Hampton on True TV, and we got George Mason Nova on TNT, we got Notre Dame Akron on TBS, and we got Arizona Memphis right behind me on CBS. And like I said, you may have noticed that this is the first time that different stations are airing them. And it's all due to this partnership, so now that everybody can watch the games they want to see without having to wonder, did this team win, did that team win, why do we have to break in, why do we have to break out? You know, stuff like that. But I know by watching this, and especially the fact that it's expanded, if you will, to 68 teams, and that the first round, as they've been calling it, the first 4 games was on Tuesday and Wednesday, which again, like they say, was the first round, and right now we're in the second round, if you will. I know a lot of people look at this and they look at some of the upsets that's happened, like Morehead State and Richmond winning, you know, things like that. They wonder, well, if basketball could do this and allow smaller teams to come in and do what they did, why can't football do it? Why can't, you know, a thing like football do it? Because I know for years people have been arguing that there should be a playoff. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be. But here's the reason why. You see, football is a little bit more different than basketball. Basketball is more equal when it comes to the players. Football is more about strength and size sometimes. And sometimes your school may not be big enough to have a full roster that would at first meet the NCAA 1A regulations. You see, basketball is totally different because everybody, like I said, is equal on that, except for Division II, but in a few Division I AA teams, but it's mostly all Division 1A because everybody's equal. Division II is a little bit different, and I'm not going to get into that. But again, you know, everybody wants to know why we don't do the same thing for football. Well, why they don't do the same thing for football? Well, it's real simple why they don't do it. It's because some of these schools that are in this tournament, like Oakland was in it, like George Mason's in it, they've had schools like Manhattan in it. The reason they don't do that is because even if they have a football team, the football team's not big enough to meet the regulations of a full-size team when it comes to NCAA Division I. And that's just a phone, I'm going to let it go. But they don't have the players, they don't have enough team squads, if you will, to fulfill the roster, fulfill the regulations for NCAA Division I. They don't. Because if they did, then there'd be a lot more teams in all these other major conferences, or mid-major conferences, than we see now. There'd be, if Oakland University had a football team, no doubt they'd probably be in the MAC conference, you know, or the Sun Belt Conference. things like that. But they don't. See, to me, that's the reason why we can't have a real playoff sometimes, because a lot of people would like to see something similar to the NCAA tournament of basketball. Now, I'm not saying we can't have a playoff or a tournament style like that with the conferences and teams that are already in Division I AA, the FBC, or the FBS, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not saying that they can't have that. But the thing is, it's all about the size of the school. All these schools that are in the bowl eligible Division I of NCAA football, they're in it due to the fact that they got big enough schools, they got big enough squads and all that on the football teams. The ones that are in Division I AA, the ones that do the playoffs, they don't got those big schools yet. If they expand a little bit, there's no doubt some of them will be there. I mean, I could see some schools already on the verge of going to Division 1A real soon. I mean, I could see schools like, say, Montana and maybe Montana State heading to Division 1A real soon and being part of the bowl-eligible NCAA football teams. I could see that already. I could see teams like Southwest Missouri State maybe. You know, teams like that. Sacramento State here in California is on the verge. All these schools are on the verge of going in that direction. They just need to expand a little bit more when it comes to the student population and the facilities, if not the sporting facilities. And right now they can't do that, maybe because due to financial and economy reasons around the country. If they can, then hey, there's no doubt we'll see some of them in the bowl eligible, you know, NCAA 1A division in the future. There's no doubt about that. But because they're smaller, they can have the playoffs. That's just my opinion. And the reason the bowl season goes the way it is still is because these are bigger schools. They are bowl eligible schools. They fit the bowl standard. That's just my opinion. That's the way I look at it. I mean, if they could have a tournament like they have for the NCAA basketball, which would include all Division 1A, you know, with teams from Sun Belt all the way to the Big 12, all the way to the SEC, all the way to the Pac-12, then so be it. You know, let them do it. But they're not doing it because everybody's used to the bowl-eligible season, and it's also due to the fact that the bowl season's a holiday tradition. Every holiday season, when people are on the Christmas or holiday breaks, like to sit back and watch the bowl games on ESPN and whatever channel, on the ESPN networks or whatever channels are broadcast on. That's why we never will see a tournament, because it's holiday tradition. And also due to the fact, and also that's why we'll never see the smaller schools like we see in these basketball tournaments going up against the bigger schools in, like, say, a playoff-like environment. I mean, unless it's like in the NCAA football games that come out, because they're smaller and they don't meet the regulations when it comes to the football sport for some reason. I don't know. The basketballs and baseballs do, but when it comes to football, they don't. So that's just my take on it. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you agree on what I said here, if I have a point on it, and I will talk to you all later.